There is one thing you need to realize about reprobate people. Or maybe not reprobates directly, but people that are heading towards reprobation. So people that are stuck in a narcissistic mindset. Such people only do what in their eyes benefits them. That doesn't mean that what they're doing is actually benefiting them in reality. But they, according to their perception, they do only what benefits them. So let me give an example. You can have someone that's addicted to smoking cigarettes. Now, being addicted is a bad thing. Being addicted to cigarettes is detrimental to your health. So it's not a good thing for them. It's not in their best interest. So why do they keep smoking cigarettes? Because by keeping smoking cigarettes, they can get relief, mental relief. Don't have to face things. And they have a circle of friends who are also smoking that they have a bond with. They get high together. So, based on their black and white perception, it benefits them to keep smoking, even though in reality, smoking is obviously bad for them. So you need to understand this mindset of people who are stuck in this self-obsession that we call narcissism. Either they're narcissists themselves or they're heading towards becoming a narcissist. So they're not narcissists yet. Just realize anyone stuck in this self-obsession, they only do what they perceive to be in their interest. So their mindset is they want to gain something. They need to get something out of it. Now, why is it important to understand this? These people are completely self-focused all the time. Yes, you've heard me, all the time. There's no second of the day that they're not self-focused. When they go to bed early, it's because they don't want to get late at the job tomorrow. Because they know if they get late at the job tomorrow, they may get fired, they don't have an income, they want to prevent that. If they go to bed late and act in an irresponsible way, they do it because they just want to be left alone. They don't want to be bothered by reality. In both cases, whether what they do has a benefit for them or not, it's all based on their self-focused perception. So, when you have people persecuting you, they afflict you because they perceive some benefit in it for them. By afflicting you, they put you in a negative daylight so they don't have to face themselves. Even when they know that the persecution will backfire on them, at least they don't have to face themselves. When they start persecuting you, because things backfired intensely on them, they start persecuting you not because they've repented, not because they are born again now, not because they want to do good, they want to leave darkness behind. No, they just don't do it anymore because it exhausts them. You just can't be defeated. So they realize if they keep fighting you, they'll be draining themselves and killing themselves. And because, for example, they have a boyfriend or girlfriend, or they may have a life partner, or they may have a career or other things they want to keep, they realize that it's not worth to fight you, because if things keep backfiring onto them, they will lose to other things that they hold dear. So even when they stop doing something that's wrong, it's only for a selfish, self-obsessed reason. They never do anything out of genuine love. They don't. They only do things that gratify their self-obsession. And it doesn't matter whether those things really benefit them or not, because often it doesn't. As long as the self is gratified. It's 100% self-gratification with such people. You don't matter as a human being. They don't even see you as a separate being with value. They don't. They only see others as tools who ought to serve as extensions of their expectations. That's the type of people you're dealing with when you're dealing with narcissistic types or people who are narcissists completely. Now, it is true that worldly people in general have a narcissistic attitude, this black and white thinking. But even then, they know how to have empathy and they know when things go too far. But someone that's stuck in this narcissistic thinking, someone that's stuck in self-obsession, they just don't want to consider when things go too far. Because it's all about them. And if they persist in this, they'll become so deformed that they can't function properly as a human being anymore. Then they've become a narcissist. It's all about them. All about them. You hear me? All about them. Such people, whether they've become reprobates already or they're close to reprobation, the only thing in the whole universe that matters to them is themselves. And it doesn't matter if they are in a bad situation or good situation. As long as the self is gratified, they're happy. They always have a reason for what they do. But when someone else does something that doesn't benefit them directly, they attack. They always operate in double standards that can't be justified. Now, double standards can be justified if the conditions are different. For example, you can have two women, but one has to pay taxes, the other doesn't. And you may say, okay, well, why does the one has to pay taxes, the other doesn't? Well, the other was born with a mental defect. So she can't think. She's dependent on the state and on charity. The other is a relatively healthy grown woman who's able to work and make sound decisions. So in this case, it's justified that the one has to pay taxes and the other doesn't. So double standards can be justified if it can be accounted for. But what you need to know is that narcissistic types, I'm not talking about worldly people in general, because worldly people in general, which means the majority of human population, they have a narcissistic attitude, a black and white thinking. We know that. I'm talking about those who are stuck in this narcissism, where they're narcissists themselves or they're close to becoming one. Those types always have double or more multiple standards that they can't account for. They may be very happy with you that you don't speak much. And at the same time, when it comes to someone else, they are very upset because someone doesn't talk much. For them, feelings are facts. This may sound very dumb, but that's how they operate. Feelings are facts. If today they feel happy to see you, you're the best thing that happened to them. If tomorrow they haven't slept well and now they feel a bit moody and they see you, and because they don't want to deal with the moodiness, they project it onto you. Now because they project it onto you, they associate that moody feeling, that bad feeling they had because they haven't slept well with you. So now they can't stand you. Now you need to get away. Feelings are facts. That's how they operate. It's all about being relieved. Whether that relief kills them over time, whether that relief is self-destructive, it doesn't matter. They don't want to face their misery. They want to be relieved. And they seek relief by either transferring the heaviness of their misery onto someone else or by tricking others in their misery so that they're not the only ones miserable. So when they are falling apart, they want to fall apart together with others so that they're not the only ones falling apart. That's how they think. They don't think, you know what, let me look for a solution. Things can be better. It may not be easy to go through the solution, but I'd rather go through the solution than remaining in this state of decay. That's what a healthy individual would do. Look for solutions and sincerely participate in solutions. When you're dealing with people with an obsessive self-focus, the only thing that matters is them. So don't be deceived when they suddenly become kind towards you, or they suddenly become respectful, they suddenly have manners. The only reason they act in a pleasant and societal acceptable way is because they want something from you. Namely, they want to be left alone. So they treat you well to blackmail you into letting them off the hook. They may have treated others in horrible ways, and because now they treat you well, they expect you to fall for their BS and to believe their fake stories, so you won't hold them accountable for how they've treated others. Or maybe they treated you in a bad way. Maybe they treated you in a horrible way, and there is no excuse possible for them to get away with it. So now, suddenly, they treat you well, as they should have done all the time, but they do it now just to blackmail you into not holding them accountable for what they did to you and for not repenting from what they did to you. So, they only do things to get relief. Relief is the only thing that matters to such people. So when you're dealing with such people, the only thing that works in your defense in the long run are spiritual repercussions powered by the Holy Spirit. That's the only thing that will work for you in the long run when you're dealing with such types. Do not think for a moment that you can negotiate with them. Don't think for a moment that you can work things out with them. It's not going to happen. Such people, they don't want to work things out. They don't want solutions. They don't want to be responsible. They don't want to be accountable. They just want to have ease and peace of mind at everyone's expense. There's nothing wrong with wanting ease and the peace of mind, but they want it at everyone's expense. And because of this, they can't even get along together. So that's why they join in groups and gangs to look for targets. I'm telling you, know what you're dealing with. And if any of them are direct with how selfish you are, they're only direct because they can use this to gaslight you into thinking you're the bad one. They're open and direct with their negativity so that they can later say, at least I'm honest, I didn't cheat you. They will use this directness to get off the hook. If they hide their trash, they're only doing it so they won't have to face consequences or punishment by the community. So whether they are direct about their selfishness, or better about their narcissism, or they're indirect, or they hide it, it's both to get relief. The only thing that works in your favor for your safety against such dangerous, deranged people are spiritual repercussions, which will have physical as well as social impact. Think about ancient Egypt and the Pharaoh at the time. 10 plagues it took for the Israelites to be delivered. Think about all the other places in both the Old and New Testament. Where did you see Jesus, or let me say, where did you see the Most High negotiating with Satan, negotiating with demons, working things out with demons? Did he ever do it? No. Did God look for a way to work things out with Sodom and Gomorrah? No. Did God look for a way to work things out with the fallen angels? No. There are deranged, dangerous people out there who are just as deranged as the fallen angels. They are not fallen angels. They are defective and dangerous human beings, but nevertheless, they have the same attitude as those fallen angels, and in some cases even worse. They're deranged and dangerous. So you should know what you're dealing with. They have no right to be deranged and dangerous, and they are obliged to seek deliverance, and to become better. They have no right to enable nor persist in danger, but they do. That's why they are deranged and dangerous. You acknowledging this doesn't mean you approve of it, nor do you condone nor embrace it. You acknowledge it and then you relate to them in a safe and practical way to limit and hinder their danger from affecting others and from affecting you. You don't just allow them to be dangerous as they want. No, they don't have the right to. But you're not going to fight their decision also, because that will be useless. You don't throw pearls before swine. What do you do with swine? You contain them. You don't throw pearls before them, trying to work things out with them, but you also don't allow them to roam for free, causing harm here and there either. You contain them by taking constructive actions, and those begin in the spirit world. So keep agreeing with Christ and always know what you're dealing with.